Hello, Sam and SL. Oh, oh. Right, I'm just looking before I start. Hello, Anthony. So it looks like the quality is a lot better now. I've got the internet fixed. Right, I'm absolutely sweating here. So I ain't done nothing with me here. And I've moved the handle of my camera because I was getting a bit bored with it being in the same position all the time. And yeah, I'm just waiting to see it. So I don't expect many on because I don't come on that much anymore. But I saw that idiot make a video on about, well, I think it's somebody called G, whatever his name is, David G, Dr. David G. And he said he'd been following him for like some time, but not like intimately. He says, like, I've just been following him. I do know him. I thought, no, you just come across a video of his and then, like usual, make up the stories. And I thought it would be very interesting to have a look at this bloke. So some of these things that idiot was saying, you know, he was a trauma doctor, you know, so basically A&E trauma, you know, and he's got this belief about UFOs and the technology and everything else. Well, I've never been a big believer in big, like the conspiracy theorists myself. Do I think there's aliens out there? Well, there's a possibility there is, you know, because this solar system and beyond, you know, there's got to be some other life form out there. But like, I thought it'd be interesting to research it. Well, I've taken all the bloody, what you call it, down now. All the websites that I've been looking at. But like, I've been looking into that, the Roswell, and what the CIA knows about it, what the FBI knew about it. And you can read all the papers, you know, because it's all been declassified. So you can go into Google and put UFO declassified FBI, and it'll probably show up. Hang on, let me share my screen. Oh. Share the entire screen. Click that. Oh, let's have a look. Is it sharing it? So if I go FBI declassified UFO. There we go. Straight to it, look. Straight to it. FBI records the Vault UFOs in 1947. That's starting of unexplained flying objects. You know, because there was quite a few. You know, there wasn't just one. If you read the Vault, here they are. And this is all the declassified like information what they had on like UFOs. You know, and you can do the same with what you call it, CIA. You know, you can go into all the So you click on that one. It's a bit hard to read, mind you. But it's dated July the 11th, 1947. And it says there was a disc 30.5 inches in diameter. Hey, where are you? Yeah, there's a disc 30 inches. What did it say again? A disc 30.5 inches in diameter, circular in shape. It is a dish like a saucer, and actually there is a saucer within a saucer. So you can read all this information yourself, and then but you've got to watch the dates. That's the problem. You've got to watch the dates. So are they hiding information? I don't know. There could be. Good evening, Beverly. Could they be hiding information from us? Because this is a vault that they've got on the UFOs. There's about 16 pages of it. And I think the last page, direct, let me share my screen again. Yeah, the last page, look, director. Got my bloody car. Yeah, Director J. Edgar Hoover. Federal Bureau of Investigations, Washington, D.C. Dear Mr. Hoover, second, I was very lucky to have the opportunity this afternoon to be able to introduce to you the UFO Contacts Site Journal. This magazine has been dedicated to Mr. George Amazaki. I don't know. But it is a fascinating read. If you read all these logs, about it's all to do with I think with Roswell and the conspiracy, and they say it was a weather balloon. I think that's right. They're letting us know what we want to know. Well, all these files have been opened up because of people going to government and saying we want these files open. Now this David Gear, or Gee, whatever his name is, his other channel says he partitioned the government to open them up. But there was lots of other people, that did it as well. But I also say do your research and everything, and I do. I've spent all this week, spent about 4 days reading up on it, and all the papers and the CIA papers. The CIA didn't want nothing to do with it. The FBI concluded it was an hoax and basically tried to wash their hands of it. But what I do find fascinating is all these people that's asked to open up the FBI and the CIA files is it's when you start reading these files, all these agencies always say they referred it to the army. You know, we referred it to the army. But the army files are not opened up, so is it a big conspiracy? You know, we can deny the FBI and the CIA, we can deny it all because we passed it on to the army, you know, and the Navy. And then you get like other conspiracy theorists like what was it called? Was it Majestic 12? If you Google that, Majestic 12 Blue Book, you know, and you find out all this through reading them files. You know, you take names down, like I write down names, and then like I Google the name and see what I come up with. And like I say, I come up with like uh, authors of books that write about UFOs that the FBI have been investigating them. You know, because like they think they're communists. But it's a quite interesting read. You know, it's quite a boring read as well at sometimes. You know, you have to, it's like anything, you have to put it down and go back to it. But looking at these files and then jotting down some names, you know, there's some things that you don't really know out there. You know, they all say it's fake, but is it fake? I don't know. Like I say, it's all been passed on to like different departments of like, now they say the army has it, the army's involved in it. You know, it's nothing to do with the FBI, it's nothing to do with the CIA. And then you start reading about where money's going. And, and it's all in these files, if you look at it. It's all in these files, and it's like a bloody giant jigsaw puzzle as you start reading these files and you start looking at the names, and then it leads you down deeper down the rabbit hole. You know, and I just find it fascinating because I've never really thought about UFOs. I thought, like, yeah, well, this probably is life. Probably they are going to visit us. You know, one theory was like not one nuclear weapon have been blasted into space. They've all failed. And they reckon because it's failed, they all failed, it was because of aliens, you know, malfunction, not blowing them up, but malfunctioning them somehow. You know, some of these. But then I think about like, well, that can't be true, can it? Because like, why would they let rockets go into space? You know, if you ain't going to let a nuclear weapon go into space, you won't want us going into space. You know, so like, I don't know. Like I say, it's fascinating when you start reading all these documents. Uh, I don't know if I can find. I did have some interest, but I've shut them all down. I've shut the bloody bit. Just now I can get into it. Uh, See, some of it's hard to bloody read because it's like on the old typewriter. I'm sweating. I'm absolutely sweating. Yeah, I'm reading. I think I might have to go to this CIA. it's like some of these Air Force bases that's mentioned in it as well. You know, everybody starts going on about Roswell and that, but like when you start reading and then you find out it's been passed on to this Air Force base or that Air Force base, you know, it never mentions Roswell. Oh, come here, just having tea. Okay, so I'm not. I'm dying. I'm sweating. I'm hot. Uh, all pains in my knees. Yeah, so I'd encourage you all, you know, to look at this like FBI site and like I say, if I go to I can't even say it now. Declassified information, CIA, UFOs. Oh, Central Intelligence. Yeah. Oh, here we go. Flying saucers. German scientist article on flying discs. This is what they say. The American government is like charging their people taxes for this. Flying saucer. Recent. Let me share my screen so you can see it all. It's like there are. Here it goes. It's just like one light phenomenon east of Tashkent. Flying saucer is unknown. Recent sighting of unexplained objects. Flying saucer in Spain and North Africa. Flying saucer. Russia and satellite mention of flying saucer. Flying saucer in East Germany. Flying saucer over Belgium, Congo. Uranium mine. Well, that's it. Flying saucer over Belgium, Congo, uranium mine. Hello, Tony. You know, so like these are all declassified stories, basically, that you can read. You know, and it's all you got to just put in is declassified CIA UFOs, and then you'll just get that list of what I've got. It goes on, what it goes. It's a bit like Dennis Roussos, flying saucers again. Look, sighting of unidentified flying object over Spain and Africa, July and October. Unidentified object over Norwegian town. You know, like I say, the list goes on and on and on. What was that? Something? If the vacancies happen, it's a large scale. Well, it's like say you could go into these files. You know, it's all in there. But like they say they handed it over to the army. So like, people are asking for the files for the FBI and the CIA. You know, and you can read these files, like I said, like I'm doing now. I'm reading them. But the points I picked up is it's that they're all denying it. They're all saying it's fake, but they passed it on to the army. Now, my question was when I was reading them, and they were saying it was all fake. If it was fake, why would they pass it on to the army? And the only reason I could come up with is like deniability. They wash their hands of it and say, like, the army's got it now, it's their problem. You know, so are people going to start now? Fake it. Well, is it? You know, more and more sightings are being reported, aren't they? Of like, well, what do they call them now? Use something P's, or they don't call them UFOs anymore, do they? They call them something else. Let's have a look at. See if I've got it saved here. What's his name? Oh, Steve, his name was, wasn't it? Steve Gear. Steve and the Magpie. No, it wasn't Steve and the Magpie. It was Steve. Here he is. So if I share my screen again, oh, I'm already sharing it. So where are we? So so this guy in his interview, 1990.
It's just a nice part of the world. It is. Yeah.
Everybody's so helpful.
Hang on now. Let's see how our Tinker Toys are all put together here. Have we got any kind of an audio line?
Yeah, if you just want to give me a little bit of.
Glenn, would you?
So, but he wanted to know if we had any in stock, and I said no. But if I can make a call to Amarillo, I can have him in, by 7 o'clock the next morning on the truck. So he said, I'll get back to you, and that was the first contact that I had with the base.
And then what?
Then he called back, probably 45 minutes or so later. And he said, I need to ask you some more questions. He said, in case something like this should happen, he said, we need to know what the preparation, what your preparations are for the bodies that had been laying out in the elements, And he said, we need to know also what.
See, this guy here is explaining about Roswell and the alien bodies. So this is 1990. And when was Roswell? 47.
What if your treatments of the bodies are the remains? What could you do to them? And if your treatments, would it change any of the chemical breakdown of the tissues, the blood? Would it make a difference? And I said, I thought probably it would. And I said, of course, he knew exactly how we would treat those bodies because we have an outline from them and what we really have to do. I think he already at that point knew exactly what we would have to do.
Did he disclose to you what he had?
No, I told him, I said, if you if you have a problem, if you want, if you have something you don't really know what to do about it, let me come out, and I'll, try to help you do whatever you want to do. And he said,
Let me fix the microphone.
no, he said,
let's
that-
just back up just a minute there. Let's start again with you were saying you told him that you can come out and take care of what he had, right?
yeah.
Why don't you pick it up from that point?
So anyway, he said, well, we don't really have anything. He said, we're sitting here thinking in case we should get involved in something like this, what would be our preparation? Should we do? Then I went through, I said, do you really want to know how we would do it? Well, yes, we would like to know. So that's when I
I'm going to stop it there because, like, that was in 1990. He was explaining about the alien bodies, right? And he's giving away top secret information, right? About Roswell. He's giving away this top secret information about Roswell and what happened to the alien bodies. But what fascinates me is nothing ever happened to him. They didn't send him to court like Snowden, like all the others. Is it Chelsea Manning? That did the Licky Weeks when he put files out there, got sent to prison, for this top secret stuff. But that bloke, nothing ever happened to him. He's telling you about top secret and alien autopsy, of like the bodies at Roswell, and nothing. So is he telling the truth or is he lying? We can't prove it, can we? But we can only assume that he's lying because nothing ever happened to him. He wasn't assassinated by the CIA. He wasn't prosecuted by the FBI. I tell you, want to look at them FBI files and the CIA files and see how much they put, because there's a file in there and it tells you, it breaks down everything, of how much money they want out of Congress for these black files. That, like you say, the black budget, it's all in there. 10 grand for this, 10 grand for that, 5 grand for this, 20 grand for that. And it's all in them files and it's all broken down to each department of all these secret things. To me, it's amazing. It's insight. Like if you're interested in the UFO things and like I say, to me, I'm a skeptic of everything. I'm a skeptic of ghosts. I'm a skeptic of UFOs. I don't believe in conspiracy theories. Like I say, that bloke there is giving away top secret information, and then nothing has ever happened to him. But when Snowden gave away top secret information, they hounding him, and that Chelsea Manning, when he gave out secret information, they was all over him. They're all over Donald Trump now, aren't they? They've all them files of secrets. But he's telling you a secret story, and then nothing happened to him. I just find it fascinating. E.T. phone home. Well, I was going to go to Cornwall today. I was just going to get in my car and drive off. But by the time it was about 2 o'clock, and I thought, no, I can't be bothered at this time. So look at this other bloke, look. Right, here's one. Oh, let's get back to add to screen. Would you have took this?
General Albert Stubblebind III, Bert, who had been head of special forces and Army intelligence, he intercepted me after we had this major contact event out in Florida and near Pensacola. And he subsequently, about a month later, personally offered me $2 billion to not pursue what I was doing and become part of his team.
Earl, going against the wind. The wind's 120 knots from the west. Look at that thing, dude.
That's somebody offers you $2 billion, you know. $2 billion. They don't even pay their bleeding scientists that much, do they? Hey? They don't pay their scientists more than, well, I don't know. But why would they offer him? So to me, I just think, you know, is it fake? You know, what he's talking about? Nobody in their right mind would offer $2 billion to keep the mouth shut. Eh? It's cheaper to shoot him. Well, these are all shorts. I don't want shorts. What's this one?
Eve to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do whatever you want.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Dr. Stephen Greer. I'm the founder of the Disclosure Project. I'm an emergency doctor, retired now, emergency medicine and trauma. I have been working in this area for about 33 years as a volunteer and as a provider of information to people in the United States government. You're seeing behind me a moment ago, this event 22 years ago on May 9th, 2001. At that event, there were 22 folks who came forward, and that information is all on our website and on YouTube. And those were folks who actually, some of them, who handled extraterrestrial bodies called EVANs, extraterrestrial biological entities, handled craft, were on retrieval teams, all kinds of witnesses. Now, that got a certain amount of attention in Congress, but they weren't ready at that time to do hearings, which they're preparing for. I understand from people in the House Government Reform and Oversight Committee. And so over the last 16 months, I've been asked to provide as much intelligence as I can to folks who have been working to get to the bottom of this since the Congress passed a law requiring the Director of National Intelligence to come forward with information to the extent that he had it. Now, one of the problems with that process is that, and I discovered this in 1993, in December 13th of that year, when I briefed the director of the CIA at the time, R. James Woolsey, for then President Clinton. He and the president had been waved off and not given information on this subject. That's when, as a young doctor, I realized that this was being run outside appropriate oversight and supervision by the office of the president and the Congress. And that is just a fact. So at that point, of course, it sort of upended my life in many ways, but we began to try to get information to the executive branch further, do research, provide whistleblower testimony, but it was all done very quietly. I then started providing information to folks in the Congress, such as Representative Dan Burton, who was chairman of the Government House Reform and Oversight Committee, Senator Dick Bryan of Nevada, ironically, home of Area 51, on the Senate Intelligence Committee, and many others. Those proceedings went forward as a volunteer effort, and all of this is still a volunteer effort. We're unfunded volunteers. And I do want to thank every one of the people here who made this happen, all these military whistleblowers coming forward, and our staff, and most of all my wife, Emily. I will tell you, if my wife, Emily, hadn't been a rock, we wouldn't be here. She's amazing. So, we got married 44 years ago in August, this coming August. So we have 4 kids, 12 grandkids. So ironically, my grandkids are the ages of my daughters when I started this process. So it's beautiful, but like, really? Why is this taking so long? So in my young years, I thought, okay, we'll get this information to the president and key people in the Congress. I'll go back to my normal life, taking care of shootings and stabbing.
So what he basically says is, like, the president of the United States never knew about all these, like, different compartments of, like, all these black sites. There was only on a need-to-know basis. So if you was a senator and you was trying to investigate where this money was meant to, and a senator rang up, like, a certain department of where this money is, they wouldn't answer him and says, like, you haven't got clearance, you know. So it was all on a need to know. So they hid it from the presidents, every president, which I find really amazing. You know, I do. I just find it absolutely. I can you keep it from a president? Well, you want to listen to this bloke, and there's others out there that you can listen to, and it's fascinating. But like I say, can you take him by his word? I don't know. You know, you heard what he said. You know, they offered him $2 billion. You know, what, they don't even pay scientists that type of money for the technology that they're doing, like reverse engineering. If they've got a spacecraft from 1950s, you know, and they're reverse engineering it, which I think it's possible, you know, for the technologies that they come out to. Where do all these, like, microwaves, where did that come from? You know, where do our understanding come from? And like this bloke is saying, like, they've got, we can end world hunger, we could all have generators, and but they won't release. Well, of course they won't release it, because you can't make money, and unfortunately this world runs on money. It's like the bloke that invented a car that runs on water, and it's on YouTube somewhere. I've been trying to find it, where he does this car, and it just actually does run off the water, you know. And it's been like a conspiracy that the government's got hold of it, got hold of the pattern, and like he can't build it again and stuff like that. But like I say, these files are just a fascinating read, and it leads you down a rabbit hole. You know, when you start reading it and you start checking some of the names, and you start Googling different departments and stuff like that. And then, like I said, you get to the Majestic 12, you get to know about the Blue Book Project. And not only that, if you're interested in civil rights, you know, if you go to the FBI files and you have a look down the categories, they've got like fugitives and they've got civil rights. And Rodney King, Malcolm X, his name was Malcolm Lickle, then he became Malcolm X. And they've got like quite a few people in there. That they're spying on. And then you've got like, if you're interested in gangsters, like organised crime, you know, they've got files on Al Capone. Some people I've never heard of. They've got files on Jimmy Hoffa. Carlo Gambino. You know, so I'd be interested in like files on World War II, and you know, so if you're interested in all this stuff, you know, it is worth a read. Like I say, but like I'm interested in the UFO bit. You know, I'm sweating. I am. I'm sitting here. I've got my windows open. Oh. I'm reading the comments. So I gather you lot believe UFOs are real. Are they real? Are they fake? Do you believe we're going to get annihilated by Vladimir Putin? You know, because he's threatening us again, isn't he? With nuclear war. You know, what wants to annihilate us? For our support with Ukraine. That's another thing, Ukraine. There's a lot of websites out there now that are reporting on the war. You go on to all these websites and they're selling merch, you know, they're saying supporters and that. And where's all the ad revenue going? Is it going to support Ukraine or is it going to support them? You know, that's a question I've got. Because there's that many popping up now that's supporting Ukraine in the war. These websites and giving you like snippets of news, whatever. And they're saying like supporters, like, and they've got merch and all that. Where's that money going? Is it going to the Ukrainian? Or are they doing it to profiteer? Anyway, I'm not stopping on. I'm going because I might be on tomorrow night as well. But I thank you all for joining, and I'll catch you again soon.